And Ruchira Berry, Senior Fellow at the Vivekananda International Foundation, joins us for more on what to expect from the summits underway in the world. First of all, let's start with G20, ma'am. What makes this G20 summit special?
Yeah, this G20 summit comes after India's presidency. So India is hoping that there will be continuity in the summit. All the issues that India had discussed, that about sustainable development, green transition, women's development, sustainable finance, those are the issues that India had discussed, and we hoped that these issues would also be taken up by Brazil, and Brazil has taken up these issues. Brazil is discussing poverty elevation and sustainable development, social inclusion, green energy transition, and also global governance reforms, which is also part of India's presidency's objectives. So I think there is continuity, and there is a hope that there would be consensus among the leaders when they meet and discuss these important issues which are facing the world today: climate change, transition, energy transition towards fuels which would help in reducing the damage of which the climate change is doing, and also moving towards reform of the multilateral order, which does not reflect the reality of the world as exists today, and also the focus on global south. See, Brazil is part of the Troika. We had the G20 summit last year in India. It's Brazil now, and the next it will be South Africa. So the global south countries have this unique opportunity to bring forward their views on various issues, and I'm sure this summit will also feature in the views and aspirations of the global south as projected by Brazil.
Yes, so it will be the first time that the African Union will be also part of the G20 summit. Do you think Brazil has a lot on its agenda carrying forward from the successful presidency of India last year?
Yes, they would try. Obviously, there is, the Brazilians have a lot to catch up with. There was a momentous decision taken in the last G20 summit where India brought in, through its efforts, the African Union, bringing in the voice of 54 African countries to the table of G20. This was a unique move. While Brazil continues to focus on Africa, the African Union is present, and so are the other African countries. South Africa was already a member of G20, and they have also invited some other guest countries from Africa, like Nigeria. So it will be obviously a difficult path for the Brazilians to match up with the kind of initiatives that India had taken, but we hope for the best.
Yes, one hopes for the best. And one of the sessions of the G20, like you mentioned, ma'am, is reform of the institutions of global governance. Which institutions will be discussed in particular? What are the reforms that the G20 and especially the developing countries in the G20 will be looking for? And what is the likelihood of making some headway in these reforms?
These are global governance reforms in terms of the reforms within the Bretton Woods institutions, within the UNSC, bringing in the voices of the global south within this forum. This is something which may be discussed, and how should the multilateral development banks, how should they be shaping up? Are they properly representing the reality of the world today? I think these are some of the issues which may be discussed during the summit.
And what do you think Prime Minister Modi is going to highlight in his speeches at these sessions?
He will definitely try to focus on the continuity of the agenda of Global South in this summit, and the fact that the sustainable development and fintech, that there should be focus on finance sustainable finance for the global south. I think these are some of the issues which the Prime Minister might highlight.
Okay, taking a practical view, how optimistic are you that this G20 will be successful in achieving its stated objectives, and what could be the hindrances in the way?
See, the main the objectives are really big. They are ideal in terms of elevating hunger and poverty. That is one of the objectives. Energy transition is the other. Providing or facilitating finance, sustainable finances is the third. So I don't think this would lead to an end to, this would serve as a panacea to all the problems that the global south is moving, but we may take the first step towards that direction. The good part is that that Brazil will have, I mean the challenge for Brazil is that at the moment that we are currently facing geopolitical tensions which might lead to conflict between some of the members. So coming to a consensual leadership statement will be difficult for the Brazilians to forge, but hopefully with the help of India and the other members, this may be possible.
Okay, interestingly, ma'am, the next COP30 summit would be held in Brazil, and of course Brazil is holding the G20. Now the UN Secretary General has stressed the urgency of climate action and warned of catastrophic consequences if major economies fail to act. So if you could elaborate, if the world could act to avoid these catastrophic consequences, which we are seeing these extreme weather patterns across the globe.
Yeah, so these, see, nothing can work by just stating things. The world has to work together. These are the problems which are faced by countries across the world. These are global issues. So there's a need for a global partnership. The developing countries alone cannot resolve this. They need help. They need technology. They need finance from the developed countries to deal with the climate challenge. And unless the developed countries are serious about supporting the developing countries, we will not be able to resolve this, and we will have a permanent haze in our climatic conditions if we do not heed to the warning of the UN Secretary General.
So how hopeful are you, ma'am, of Finance COP, which at COP29 likely to succeed in finalizing the adequate contributions of wealthier countries to support developing countries?
Yeah, we hope that this would materialize, because it is a very important part of it, as I had mentioned earlier also, that without the finance, how do you expect developing countries to deal with this? The developed countries have used all kinds of energies which have damaged the environment, and now they expect the developing countries which have really a financial crunch to deal with this on their own. So finance is an important aspect of it, and we hope that this COP would be able we will be able to get a consensus on this.
And what happens to the world's efforts to fight climate change should the US under Donald Trump withdraw from the Paris Agreement again?
Yeah, that's again, you all know the views of President Trump. So if he withdraws, then obviously this would lead to a kind of downfall in our expectations on the climate change solutions coming anywhere near in the future.
Okay, thank you, Ruchita Berry Ji, Senior Fellow at Vivekananda International Foundation. A lot to expect from the talks ahead at the G20.